At the office, Jungkook dived into work, calling for an urgent meeting with his team. He needed to address the client's concerns and find a solution immediately. Everyone, we have received negative feedback on our latest project, he announced, his voice tense. John, what happened? Why did he delay? If I don't concentrate, he would not do work properly. His tone was rising as he was getting angry. Sorry, sir, he simply apologized. Sorry will not fix everything. You all should work according to the schedule. I'm disappointed. I don't know what you will do. You have to complete it on time. Mind it and work. Now leave. He yelled at them and they left immediately. As they dispersed to start working, Jimin approached him. Jungkook, what happened? You seem more stressed than usual. Jungkook sighed, running a hand through his hair. The client's not happy with the project's delay. We need to turn this around quickly. Jimin glanced at his wrist, noticing the absence of the bracelet. Where is the bracelet Wine gave you? Jungkook's expression hardened. I threw it away. It was a distraction. I need to focus on work. Jimin looked concerned. Are you sure that's the right call? She's been good for you, man. Right now, I don't have time for distractions, he replied, his voice firm. Jimin sighed but nodded. Alright, just remember work isn't everything. Jungkook didn't respond, turning back to his desk. As the hours passed, he threw himself into the project, determined to fix the issues, but no matter how hard he tried to concentrate, he couldn't shake the feeling that he had made a mistake. The image of the bracelet lying in the dustbin haunted him, a clear evidence to the choices he was making. You spent the whole day thinking about Jungkook's behavior that morning. His sudden coldness worried you. Over the past weeks, you both had grown closer and you had hoped you guys were moving in a positive direction. But now he seemed annoyed and distant, just like he had been when you first got married. That evening you were in the kitchen preparing snacks. You wanted to make something special for her. When Jungkook returned home, hoping to cheer him up, as you were arranging the ingredients, the maid, Shane, entered the kitchen holding something in her hand. Ma'am, I found this in the dustbin of Mr. Jungkook's desk, she said hesitantly, holding out the silver bracelet that you had gifted Jungkook. Your heart sank as you took the bracelet from her. Are you sure you found it in his desk dustbin? He asked, trying to keep your voice steady. Then she nodded. Yes, I was cleaning his office and found it there. He forced a smile at her while she was feeling bad to see your face changing dull. Thank you for letting me know, Shane. After the maid left, you stared at the bracelet in your hand, feeling a deep sadness. You wondered what had happened to make Jungkook throw it away. You had thought you were making progress, but now it seems like you are back to the day one again. You decided to wait for Jungkook to come home and talk to him about it. You needed to understand what had gone wrong. When Jungkook finally walked in that evening, he looked exhausted and still annoyed. He barely glanced at you as he put down his briefcase and headed for the living room. Jungkook, can we talk for a minute? You said softly, following him. He sighed, clearly not in the mood. What is it, Vine? I'm really tired. You asked, showing him the bracelet. Shane found this in your desk dustbin. Did you throw it away? His eyes flicked to the bracelet and he frowned. Yes, I did. It was distracting me. Distracting you? How could it be distracting? He repeated, hurt evidence in your voice. He rubbed his temples, trying to keep his frustration in check. I got bad remarks from a client about a delayed project. I thought maybe if I focused more on work and less on other things, it would help. Your eyes filled with tears. So you think spending time with me is the reason for your work problems? He looked away, unable to meet your gaze. I don't know why. I just know I need to fix this, and I can't afford distractions. He took a deep breath, trying to stay calm. Jungkook, I'm not here to distract you. I want to support you. We are supposed to be a team. He remained silent, his jaw tight. You continued, your voice breaking. I thought we were making progress. I thought you were starting to see the value in what we have. Jungkook finally looked at you, his expression softening slightly. Ryan, it's not that simple. This project is important and I think it's not going to happen with me. It's getting tough. You nodded, wiping away a tear. I understand your work is important, but so is our relationship. If we don't work together, this marriage won't survive, and neither of us will be happy. Then let's break this marriage. You will be happy, and I can focus on work without distractions. Your heart breaks again upon hearing his words. I didn't expect this from you, Jungkook, you said, and your voice broke. Jungkook watched. As you walked away, you were completely sad. He felt a pang of guilt, realizing how much he had hurt you, but he was also overwhelmed by the pressure of his work, and he didn't know how to balance both worlds. He sat down on the couch. He stared at the empty space where the bracelet had been feeling more lost than ever. Since that day, Jungkook started spending even more time at work. He stopped coming home early and often returned after midnight. The warmth and connection that had begun to form between you vanished. You felt exhausted and lonely, carrying the weight of your broken relationship by yourself. One afternoon, feeling utterly defeated, you decided to visit your elder sister Hazen. You hoped that talking to her would bring some clarity and comfort. As you entered your sister's cozy home, Hazen greeted you with a warm hug. Mayan, it's so good to see you. Come in, sit down. You sank into the couch, tears welling up in your eyes. Hazen, I don't know what to do. Jungkook has completely shut me out. He always at work and he barely talks to me anymore. Hazen sat beside you, holding your hand. Tell me everything. He took a deep breath and explained the situation. We were getting closer, spending time together, and I thought things were improving. But then he got bad feedback on a project and he blamed me for it. He even threw away the bracelet I gave him. Hazen listened intently, her expression sympathetic. I'm so sorry, Vine. I can see how much this is hurting you. You wiped away a tear. I don't know what to do. I have tried everything to show him I care, but nothing seems to work. He squeezed your hand gently, Vine. I understand your pain. Sometimes when you give too much and don't get anything in return, it can feel you're losing yourself. I have been through something similar with my husband. You looked at your sister surprised. Really? How did you handle it? She sighed. It wasn't easy. I realized that constantly showing love and care wasn't working. My husband was taking it for granted, so I decided to give him the silent treatment for a while. I stopped going out of my way to show affection. I focused on myself instead. You frowned. Did it work? He nodded. Yes, it did. He eventually noticed the change and started to miss my presence. It made him realize how much he valued me. Sometimes people need a wake up call to appreciate what they have. You were convinced. You're right. I forget about this concept, self love. I'm really tired. I think I should focus on myself first. A smile appeared on your sister's face. I know it sounds tough, but you have already tried being understanding and caring. Maybe it's time to try something different. Give him space and see if he comes to his senses. Focus on yourself for a while. He nodded slowly. Alright, I will try. I just hope it works. She hugged you tightly. You're strong wine. No matter what happens, remember that you deserve to be happy. That evening, you returned home with a new resolve. You decided to take your sister's advice and give Jungkook the silent treatment. You would focus on yourself and see if he realized what he was missing. It was a difficult decision, but you hoped it would bring about a change in your relationship. For the next few days, you avoided initiating conversations with Jungkook. You stopped leaving notes, making his favorite meals, and waiting up for him. You spent more time on your hobbies, went out with friends, and took care of yourself. It wasn't easy, but you were determined to see it through. Jungkook, on the other hand, noticed the change in your behavior. At first, he didn't think much of it, assuming you were simply busy. But as days passed, he started to feel the empty that you left behind. Your absence became more apparent, and he began to miss the little things you used to do for him. One evening, he came home and found the house unusually quiet. You were reading a book, not even looking up when he entered. Wine, he called softly, unsure of how to start the conversation. You looked up deeply, your expression neutral. Yes, Jungkook? He hesitated, feeling a pang of guilt. I just wanted to say I'm home. You nodded. Okay, good night. Jungkook stood there feeling the coolness of your words. For the first time he realized how much your warmth and care had meant to him. He went to bed that night with a heavy heart, beginning to understand the consequences of his actions. Since you started giving Jungkook silent treatment, he slowly began to realize how much he missed your love and care. Every time he came home to find the house quiet and you distant, it hit him harder. He wanted to say something, to confess how he felt, but his pride held him back. This was the last day of your 6 months agreement. Jungkook was particularly happy that day because his latest project had been a huge success. He was also excited to meet his role model Mr. Lee, a respected businessman twice his age. Jungkook arrived at the meeting place luxurious hotel and waited in the lobby. When Mr. Lee appeared, Jungkook greeted him with admiration. Mr. Lee, it's an honor to meet you, he said, shaking his hand. Jungkook, I have heard great things about you, Mr. Lee replied with a smile. Congratulations on your project success. Thank you, sir. You have been a huge inspiration to me. Your dedication to work and your achievements are what I strive for. Mr. Lee chuckled. I appreciate it, Jungkook, but let me give you some advice, something I have learned over the years. Jungkook listened intently, eager for wisdom from his role model. Success is work is important, but nothing is important than having loved ones beside us. At the end of the day, it's the love and support from family that truly matters. Jungkook frowned confused, but sir, you have achieved so much because of your dedication to work. Mr. Lee nodded. Yes, I have, but I have also missed a lot. My biggest regret is not spending enough time with my family. Now that I am older, I realize the victories in business mean little without loved ones to share them with. Jungkook felt a pang of guilt as Mr. Lee's words sank in. He remembered how happy he had been during the times he spent with you. Despite his initial days, your love and care had made his life beautiful and happy. Mr. Lee, I think I understand what you are saying. There is someone in my life, my wife Vine. She's been nothing but supportive, and I have taken her for granted, he said quietly while feeling so much pain inside. Mr. Lee smiled kindly. It's never too late to make things right, Jungkook. Go to her, show her that you appreciate her. He smiled while holding up his emotions. Thank you, sir. You opened my eyes. I will do it for sure. As Jungkook drove home, he thought about the past 4 months. He had focused so much on his work that he had pushed you away. But now he knew what he needed to do. When I'm coming, all these days I felt sad and it was really painful to be away from you. But now I cannot leave you for 1 minute. I will do whatever it takes to get you back. He was so excited to meet you. When he arrived home, the house was quiet. He called out, Ryan, but got no response. He checked the kitchen, the living room, and bedroom, but you were nowhere to be found. Panic began to set in as he searched every room, hoping to find you. Finally, on the dining table, he noticed a letter on the table. His heart pounded as he picked it up and began to read. Jungkook's hands trembled as he picked up the letter and the divorce papers. With a sinking feeling in his chest, he unfolded the letter and began to read. Dear Jungkook, by the time you read this, I will be gone. Today is the last day of our 6-month agreement, and I have decided that it's best for both of us to end this marriage. You have made it clear that your work is your priority, and I respect that. But I cannot continue in a relationship where I feel unloved and unwanted. I have signed the divorce papers and I hope you understand my decision. I will not disturb you anymore and I will wish you all the success in your career. I hope one day you find what truly makes you happy. Take care, Ryan. Jungkook's heart ached as he read your words. The realization of how much he had hurt you hit him like a tidal wave. Guilt and regret overwhelmed him. He quickly glanced at the divorce papers and saw your signature. The decision of yours made his stomach churn. No, this can't be happening, he muttered to himself, panic rising within him. He grabbed his phone and dialed Hyzin's number with shaking fingers. Hyzin, where is Ryan, please? I need to talk to her, he said urgently when Hyzin answered. She is at the airport, Jungkook. She is leaving abroad, she replied, her tone tinged with sadness. Which airport? Do you know which flight? He asked, desperation clear in his voice. Upon knowing the truth, Jungkook rushing out the door and heading to his car. As he drove to the airport, memories of the past 6 months flooded his mind. He remembered the small moment of happiness you had shared, your warm smile, your caring gestures, and how you had always been there for him despite his coldness. He realized how much he had taken you for granted and how much he needed you in his life. When he arrived at the airport, Jungkook raced through the terminal searching for you, his heart pounding as he scanned the crowd, praying he wasn't too late. Finally, he spotted you in the chair waiting for the flight. Ryan, he shouted, running towards you. You turn around, surprised to see Jungkook rushing towards you. Jungkook, what are you doing here? Please don't go. I know I have been terrible and I'm so sorry. I was a fool to push you away. I thought work was everything, but I was wrong. You're what matters to me, he said. His voice was breaking. Tears welled up in your eyes as you listened to him. Jungkook, it's too late. I have already signed the papers. You don't need me holding you back. No, Wine, you're not holding me back. You make me better. You make my life complete. He pleaded, standing on his knees. I don't care about the papers, I just want you. I love you, Wine. Please give me one chance. You looked into his eyes, seeing the sincerity and pain in them. You took a deep breath, your heart torn between leaving and giving him another chance. Jungkook, it's not just about saying sorry. You need to show that you have changed. You said softly. I know and I will. I promise to put you first, to show you every day how much you mean to me. Please, Wine, don't leave. He said, taking your hands in his. He literally begged you, ignoring, not minding thousands of people around him. After a moment of silence, he nodded slowly. Alright, Jungkook, but this is your last chance. If things don't change, I won't hesitate to leave you again.